networks promise unlimited data. Then they slow your downloads after just a gig or two. Verizon doesn't slow your stuff. Because when data is your only hope, better matters. Star Wars: The Force Awakens, December 18th, rated PG-13.
Continues. Just one of the big stories taking place on this Tuesday night. The Cubs wheeling and dealing at the winter meetings. All-star shortstop Starlin Castro has been traded to the Yankees, and the team signs infielder-outfielder Ben Zobrist to a 4-year, $56 million deal.
Martellus Bennett's 2015 season comes to a
Major League debut for Starlin Castro. Fly ball to right. Bruce going back. Starlin Castro! A 3-run homer. Welcome to the big leagues. 3-2 to Castro. Left center. He's going to knock in at least 2 more. A 3-run triple. What a night for the kid.
That was a Major League debut record, 6 RBIs for Starlin Castro. And now the 3-time All-Star has been traded to the Yankees. The Cubs will get pitcher Adam Warren and infielder Brendan Ryan. The 25-year-old Castro spent 6 seasons on the north side. The Yankees pick up the $38 million left on his contract.
So with second base now open, the Cubs were able to close a deal with free agent Ben Zobrist, reportedly for $56 million over 4 years. It includes a no-trade clause for the first 3 seasons. The 34-year-old Zobrist helped the Royals win a World Series title with a .365 on-base percentage during the postseason. He also played the bulk of his career for Joe Madden in Tampa. Zobrist is a switch hitter and a 2-time All-Star. Here's Theo Epstein on the Cubs' 2 moves today.
We couldn't have made this free agent signing without this trade, and would not have made this trade without the free agent signing. So first and foremost, I want to thank Starlin for all his contributions as a Cub. You know, it's been an incredible 9-year run for him in this organization. He really grew up in this organization, went through a lot here, made tremendous positive contributions to help get us to where we are. That said, you know, it was an opportunity to trade, essentially, as we look at it, to trade Starlin for Ben Zobrist and Adam Warren, and that's something that in our situation made a lot of sense for us with how we're constituted in 2016 and going forward.
Thanks a lot here in Nashville for day 2 of the winter meetings alongside our CSN Cubs insider Patrick Mooney, and the Cubs making some fireworks here on day 2. Just tie a bow on what this means for Castro and his days as a Cub.
Well, I think Starlin Castro is someone who had been a lightning rod for a long time, and that a lot of that was probably unfair. He was thrust into the situation at the age of 20, I believe. Now has almost 1,000 hits before his 26th birthday. And I think there are times where he's underappreciated. There are times where he lost focus in the field and deserved that. But I think ultimately, you look at the end of Starlin's career in Chicago and just the way he handled Addison Russell taking over at shortstop, taking the news from Joe Madden and really reinventing himself to a point where the Cubs don't get to the NLCS without Starlin Castro being this dynamic second baseman. And certainly the Yankees had been on him for a long time. They noticed that transition. They thought he would fit well in the Bronx. And so Starlin Castro always wanted to be there when the Cubs turned, to be on that team that won the World Series. He doesn't get to that point, but he's certainly, you know, it was a huge part of building the Cubs back up into a playoff team faster than anyone thought that last year.
In response to this, the Cubs were able then to go after Ben Zobrist, a guy that they had been looking at for quite some time, and certainly one that I think Theo Epstein, when we just talked to him, is very excited to see what he can do with the rest of this Cubs roster.
Yeah, I think if you look at, I think Theo made a great point. Look at what Ben Zobrist did in October against the best pitching in the world. He helped the Royals, you know, win a title, and that's really why he's coming here now. And that's obviously been the appeal that people have talked about for a long time. There's this long-standing relationship with Joe Madden, who knows how to put him in the right places, and he lives not somewhere here, not too far from
right.
from here. So obviously that's a close trip to Chicago. So this was one of, you know, his top place to come to. I think it's a really good kind of short-term fit now, and I think Starlin Castro is going to have a really nice long career. Yeah. I think the Cubs were in a place where they could afford to wait on Starlin or figure out whether, which Starlin was going to be there next year. So the Cubs are really, going for it in 2016 while still, maintaining some flexibility, down the road, because they still have this opening in center. I think there's still some, big moves they have in mind, and we'll see if they can pull them off.
Patrick, Kelly, thank you very much. We mentioned the Zobrist-Joe Maddon connection. Zobrist actually played the most games of any Rays player while Maddon was the manager, and that familiarity obviously played a part in today's deals.
We'll switch to the Southsiders after this. Jose Abreu is heading home. We'll tell you why. And Robin Ventura talks about his job security as 2016 approaches.
I love the baseball hot stove. No more car payments for Ben Zobrist. He'll make $14 million a year for 4 years. Does turn 35 in May, but he's a switch hitter. He can play second base. Good veteran guy for the Cubs to have. Allison Russell's the shortstop, so don't need Starlin Castro. Castro's now a Yankee. Yankees get him for Adam Warren and stuff. Cubs trying to make their move. Again, they get a veteran presence. They struggled a bit up the middle. Zobrist, again, switch hitter, can play multiple positions, but a guy who has been there. Of course, he once played for Joe Maddon, where Tampa, you got it. No to the Mets, yes to the Cubs. Just won a ring with the Royals. Tim Kirkjian here with more on the hot stove baseball doings. Great sign by the Cubs. They need a veteran to go with that young core of players. But Theo Epstein's not done. This team can win. What else do they need to do? What are they trying to do?
Well, first off, this was a great move. You're right. Get a switch-hitting second baseman. They had trouble at that position for most of last year till Castro took over.
Right.
They still need a center fielder. They're still looking for another starting pitcher. They have Javi Baez, who they could deal for a starting pitcher. They may sign a center fielder in free agency, but they're in really good shape right now. The Cubs have gotten better since the season ended.
Last year, we saw the Padres be very aggressive. The Diamondbacks get Shelby Miller from the Braves. They get up a lot to get him, but they already had Zach Greinke. This is a team that could make some noise.
Right. They gave up a tremendous amount to get him, but, John, they are going for it here. They were
winter meetings in Nashville, Tennessee. It rolls on the Gaylord Opryland Hotel and Resort here in Music City. Sean Casey will be down there on Broadway in a few minutes.
No doubt. No doubt. It's going to be legit.
Ain't nothing but a hound dog. Hey, Greg Amsinger, Al Leiter, Sean Casey with you on MLB Tonight. All this talk of the Yankees. Going to sit pat, not do anything. I wasn't buying it from the beginning.
You weren't, were you?
No way.
Come on. Hey, it's a nice move. I like it.
The Yankees aren't going to just sit back and do nothing.
No, that's
Yankees,
not how they
they're the
conduct
Yankees.
themselves. Yes, we got some stuff to talk about. Let's begin with Ken Rosenthal. This was the big free agent that had to sign to get the Yankees involved. And Ken, go ahead and give us the contract agreed upon with Ben Zobrist.
4 years, $56 million with the Cubs, a team that was not thought to be in the mix until, a few hours ago. Another late shocker in the free agency bidding. But the Cubs, of course, are a natural fit for Zobrist. They've got Joe Maddon as their manager. They can play him at second base. More details on that in a minute. And obviously the connection with Maddon, as well as the deal, everything fit together. The idea of winning a World Series for the Cubs is something that appeals to a lot of players. So the Cubs get Zobrist. The Mets and Giants don't. They move on to other priorities, as do the Washington Nationals.
Ken, breaking that story, Zobrist to the Cubs, but now they have too many infielders if Zobrist is primarily going to play second base. So for the follow-up move, we go to Joel Sherman, who broke the story saying that there was a deal in place. The Yankees getting an infielder. Who is that infielder, Joel?
Well, it's interesting. The Mets' loss in New York might be the Yankees' gain in New York, because the Cubs had to get rid of their second baseman, and the 4 years at $37 million left on Starlin Castro. So Starlin Castro is going to the Yankees. I've heard the deal is agreed upon, not finalized yet, but unless there's a last-second glitch here, Starlin Castro is going to become the Yankees' second baseman, which means they scrap the idea of an Ackley Ref-Snyder double play, a platoon at second base, and they put Castro there, a player one of Brian Cashman's top lieutenants, Jim Hendry, is very familiar with. When he was the Cubs GM, he signed him internationally in 2006, brought him to the major leagues in 2010.
You made a great point earlier about the flexibility on the roster that Starlin Castro brings. Can you explain that again?
Yeah, last year people were really upset that the Yankees kept sticking with Stephen Drew and Brendan Ryan at second base, but I think one of the things that people failed to realize were those were the backup shortstops. If you take one of them out or take both of them out, you don't have somebody, if there's an injury during a game or a short-term injury, you don't have a shortstop on the team. If you're playing a Ref-Snyder-Ackley double play combination, neither is a shortstop. It means you got to carry another shortstop on the roster, like Brendan Ryan, at a time where guys like Carlos Beltran and Alex Rodriguez, who have no positional flexibility, already jam up 2 of the 13 spots, positional spots on your 25-man roster. So Castro, who has faded as a shortstop, is at least a good emergency shortstop while playing second base if anything were to happen to Didi Gregorius.
And Joel Sherman with the latest on an agreed-upon deal, Castro to the New York Yankees. Let's react to this right now. We must begin, Sean, with Ben Zobrist. Why is this the perfect fit for him in Chicago?
Well, there's so many different reasons it's the perfect fit, but the big one is he's back with Joe Madden. That comfort level of being with a guy that has been with your career for, 9 years. He was with Joe Madden, down with the Rays, and the way Madden used him. I like what you said before, talking about Al, about Zobrist. Madden created Zobrist. Madden created the guy that can play different positions. He played left field, right field, first base, third base, shortstop, everywhere. I just love the fit. And also another thing, too, when you go into that lineup and you go up and down it, there's a ton of strikeouts. Theo Epstein knows when you get to postseason time, you need tough at bats. You got to find a way to do that, and I think Ben Zobrist is a guy that doesn't strike out a lot, and he'll get the line moving. But you see right here, look at all the starts he's had at different positions. Gives them such flexibility out there in Chicago.
I mean, Sean, looking at that, the amount of positions that he played over 1,000 games for the 9 years that you mentioned with Joe Madden. But I think this is interesting because you got a guy that, yes, you say he's getting older, 34, right? 4-year deal. But in this day and age of baseball, it's not that much. I know it looks like a lot, 5 for 56 million, 4 for 56 million. But because of that versatility and what Madden will be able to do to a veteran guy, and I think at this point has to be made, you have to be comfortable with the ability to A, play multiple positions, and maybe also not play every day. I think it's going to be interesting what they do with Schwarber in left. We got a guy that can play left occasionally.
Yeah.
We saw in the postseason, guys, that, we can't pretend that the pink elephant isn't in the room. He made some plays out there, Schwarber. I love his bat. He'll hit it out of any ballpark.
Yeah.
He's awesome. But something going on in left field. Javier Baez is a really good player, and they like him. Where does he play? So you bring in a Zobrist who is relatively inexpensive, and you got a guy that knows where to put him. I like it.
How are the Yankees better with Starlin Castro? Do you think this is a big coup for the New York Yankees?
Well, first of all, they need an upgrade at second. They had the 3rd worst offensive production in baseball at a second base, like 223 batting average. So something had to improve there. Yes, they're better. Listen, I think the Yankees, the one thing I like about this, Greg, is that there's control ability with him. There's 4 more years. It's under control on a really good contract. 4 years at $38 million. For a guy that hasn't played as well, he played himself out of shortstop range, etc., and just throwing the ball. But here, for him to be able to solidify and play every day in New York, high intensity, that's the thing that I want to see. You got fans and you got the New York media that's on you all the time.
Yeah.
And some guys don't react well to that. Others, maybe Starlin Castro, where that fire is on you, and you play at that other level. But I think mostly, and I love what Joel said about he can relieve Didi Gregorius occasionally. You don't have to have 4 guys to play the middle infield because right now platoon at second, you need somebody to play short. This is a nice move.
The big question, who did they give up to get Starlin Castro? Well, Jack Curry, who works for the Yes Network, with this tweet, to get Starlin Castro for the Cubs, the Yankees parted with Adam Warren, that's what Joel talked about earlier, and a player to be named. This is a guy that they really like, a swing man. You've seen a lot of Adam Warren, Al. Tell us about it.
I like him. You know what, Greg? Power sinker, like bowling ball sinker, slider. Falls in love a little bit with his slider. When he gets in trouble, watched a lot of his games, kind of got slider happy. When he's on, it's action down in the zone, 93, 95 at times. I think really the quandary for the Yankees was they had him in the rotation, did a nice job. They liked him kind of better in the pen because stuff elevated velocity-wise. So I think the versatility here is really good because he really is that swing guy. I think he better plays in the bullpen for me because he's more of a 2.5 pitch pitcher. Nice changeup, slider, good sink, ground ball guy.
And the player to be named, obviously we don't know that yet, but at the moment, looking at it, Adam Warren. Do you like that package for the Chicago Cubs?
I think it's a win-win. I think, like you said, I think Warren went up there. He has good stuff. You can have him, you spot start. You can have him in the bullpen doing all that stuff. Listen, I think it's a great trade. And I also think, we were talking before to chime in about Castro, I think this guy's young. I think he still has some really good years ahead of him. And I think when the Yankees looked at it, they thought, hey, listen, we're going to have our second baseman of the future, and we got to go make a trade to get him.
So the Yankees got better. Now,